My mother-in-law pretended to be broke for years and drained her children for $300,000, but we found out that she was a secret millionaire. My mother-in-law Brenda had everyone convinced she was a destitute widow, barely surviving on Social Security, who needed constant financial help and support from her 3 adult children. She'd call my husband Alan crying about choosing between medication and groceries, so we'd send her $500. She'd text his brother Carl about her electricity being shut off so he'd pay her utility bills. She'd tell his sister Kendall that her roof was leaking, but she couldn't afford repairs, so Kendall took out a loan to fix it. Every single month there was a new crisis that required immediate cash. She lived in this tiny rundown apartment that smelled like cat pee and had furniture from the 1970s held together with duct tape. Whenever we visited, she'd serve us expired crackers and apologize for not having real food, but you know how it is on a fixed income. She wore the same 3 outfits with holes in them and shoes that were falling apart. If anyone suggested she move in with one of us, she'd say she couldn't bear to be a burden and would rather die in poverty with dignity. The manipulation went beyond money. Brenda would guilt Alan into spending every weekend doing repairs on her apartment because she couldn't afford a handyman. Carl drove her everywhere because she claimed she couldn't afford car insurance. Kendall cleaned her apartment weekly because Brenda's arthritis supposedly prevented her from basic chores, even though she seemed fine when she wanted to be. She'd forgotten Kendall's birthday for 10 years but never forgot to call when rent was due. We were hemorrhaging money keeping Brenda afloat while trying to save her our own kids' college funds. Alan worked overtime constantly stressed about his poor mother struggling to survive. Carl's wife almost left him because he kept prioritizing Brenda's manufactured emergencies over their family. Kendall went into therapy because of the guilt Brenda piled on her for not doing enough, despite Kendall basically funding Brenda's entire existence. Brenda would play her children against each other too. She'd tell Alan that Carl never helped with money, making Alan feel like he had to compensate. She'd tell Kendall that her brothers thought she was selfish, so Kendall would give even more to prove them wrong. She created this competitive dynamic where everyone was trying to be the good child by sacrificing the most. For 8 years, this woman drained us financially and emotionally. She missed grandkids' birthdays, claiming she couldn't afford gifts but expected lavish celebrations for her own. She'd refuse to come to family dinners at restaurants because she couldn't reciprocate, then guilt us for excluding her. She monopolized every holiday with her tears about spending them alone and poor. The truth came out when Brenda had a minor stroke and was hospitalized. Alan rushed to her bedside, and when the doctor said she'd need temporary rehabilitation care, Alan started panicking about how to pay for it. He asked to speak with the billing department about charity care or payment plans. The administrator looked confused and said, "Mrs. Coleman has excellent insurance, plus she's private pay anyway." Alan said there must be some mistake, his mother had no money. The administrator pulled up her account and showed Alan that Brenda had listed assets of over $2 million and had been paying for a premium Medicare supplement that covered everything. Alan thought it was identity theft or some kind of error until the administrator showed him Brenda's signature on all the forms. He called Carl and Kendall to the hospital and they started investigating. Kendall went to Brenda's apartment to get her important papers and found a hidden filing cabinet behind stacks of newspapers. Inside were bank statements showing 3 separate investment accounts worth over $800,000 each. There were property deeds for 2 rental houses in Florida generating $6,000 a month in income. There were quarterly statements from her late husband's pension that she'd been receiving for 15 years worth $4,000 a month. She had been getting nearly $10,000 a month while crying poverty to her children. Carl calculated that over 8 years the 3 siblings had given Brenda approximately $300,000 in cash and assistance, while she sat on millions. Kendall found receipts in the cabinet too. Cruises Brenda took while telling them she was too sick to travel. Designer clothes shipped to a P.O. box. Restaurant receipts from expensive steakhouses dated on days she claimed to be starving. Even receipts for a car she kept in a storage unit because she didn't want anyone to know she could drive. When Brenda woke up, her children were standing around her bed with all the evidence spread across her hospital tray. Alan said, "Mom, we found everything. The money, the properties, the lies. How could you do this to us?" Brenda immediately started crying. Full story on channel, link below.